You opened Business Manager this morning and one of your ad accounts is disabled. No warning, no real reason, just the same flat message everyone gets. And then you notice the worst part. The other accounts you run, the ones that were fine yesterday, are suddenly limited to one got nuked and it took the rest of the network down with it. If you run more than one Facebook ads account, this is the nightmare that keeps you up at night. You spend weeks warming an account, you finally start spending real money, and then the whole cluster gets linked and banned in a single afternoon. All that work gone because Meta decided your accounts were the same person. I run a real cloud phone farm in Singapore. Real physical Android phones sitting on dedicated hardware, each one with its own persistent Singapore mobile carrier IP from Singtel, M1, or StarHub. People come to me after they have already lost accounts, and the story is almost always the same. They ran everything from one machine or one IP or one browser, and Meta connected the dots. So let me walk you through how Meta actually links ad accounts together, why most setups fail, and the boring, repeatable way to run many accounts without lighting the whole thing on fire. No hype, just what works. First, the thing you have to accept, Meta is not trying to be fair. Their job is to protect the platform and the advertisers paying them. And the cheapest way to do that is to cluster accounts that look related and treat them as one risk. When one account in a cluster does something they do not like, they can take action on the whole cluster at once. That is the mechanic that wipes out networks. So the real question is not how do I avoid getting flagged? The real question is how do I stop Meta from linking my accounts to each other in the first place? If they never get linked, one bad account stays one bad account, and it does not become your whole business. How does Meta link accounts? Three big buckets: device, IP, and behavior. Get all three clean and separate per account, and you are most of the way there. Share any one of them across accounts, and you are building a cluster whether you meant to or not. Start with device. Every phone and every browser has a fingerprint. It is the model, the screen size, the fonts, the graphics chip, the time zone, the language, 100 little details that together say this is the same machine. When you log into 5 business managers from one laptop, even with different browser profiles, a lot of that fingerprint is shared. Meta sees one device touching 5 accounts, and that is a link. People try to beat this with anti-detect browsers that spoof the fingerprint. They help, but they are software pretending to be hardware, and Meta has gotten very good at spotting the gap between what a browser claims and what the underlying machine really is. It is an arms race you do not want to be in when there is ad spend on the line. Next, IP. This is the one people get wrong the most. They run 10 accounts through one home connection, or worse, through one shared VPN endpoint that thousands of other people are also using. Meta sees 10 ad accounts logging in from the same IP, and the link is obvious and instant. Data center IPS and cheap shared VPNs are the fastest way to get clustered because Meta knows those ranges and trusts them the least. What they trust is a real mobile carrier IP because that is what a normal person on a phone actually uses. A real Singapore mobile IP from Singtel or StarHub looks like a real person in Singapore because on my farm, that is literally what it is. And the key word is persistent. The IP for one account has to stay the same over time. A real person does not jump countries every few hours. If your account logs in from Singapore on Monday, a rotating proxy in Germany on Tuesday, and somewhere else on Wednesday, that inconsistency itself is the flag. Consistency is trust. One account, one device, one IP, and it stays that way. Third, behavior. This is the slow one. Meta watches how the account acts, how fast you click, what hours you are active, how the account was created, how quickly you try to spend, whether 5 of your accounts all do the exact same things in the exact same order at the exact same time. Behavioral sameness across accounts links them just like a shared device does. So here is the setup that actually holds up. One real device per profile, each on its own real mobile IP, kept persistent, used like a normal person would use a phone. On my farm, that means one physical Android phone in Singapore per account. Its own fingerprint because it is its own real hardware. Its own Singapore carrier IP because it has its own SIM. and it stays mapped to that one account permanently. That mapping is the part most people miss. The device and the IP for account number 1 belong to account number 1 forever. You never log account number 2 into that same phone. The moment you share a phone across two accounts, you have built the link you were trying to avoid, and you did it with your own hands. Now warm up. This is where almost everyone blows it. They get a fresh account, fresh device, fresh IP, and on day one, they throw $100 a day at it. A brand new account spending aggressively from minute one is the single most suspicious thing you can do, and Meta treats it exactly like the fraud it is usually trying to catch. Warm up means you treat a new account like a new person. Log in, look around, do normal things. Set up the page, fill out the business details, add the payment method, and let it sit. Browse the feed, let a few days pass with no spend at all. The account needs a little history before it touches money. Then you spend small. Start with a few dollars a day on something simple and let it run clean. No policy violations, no aggressive scaling, no sudden jumps. As the account builds a track record of small, clean spend, Meta extends it more trust and more limit. You are buying credibility with patience, and patience is cheap compared to a banned account. A good rule: push the first real budget only after the account has lived a normal life for a week or two and has spent a little without trouble. Ramp up gradually after that. Doubling slowly is fine. Going from $5 to $500 overnight is how you get reviewed. Let me talk about business manager hygiene, because the BM layer is where a lot of links hide. One business manager should not own a sprawl of unrelated accounts, pages, and pixels all tangled together. When you share assets, add people, and assign partners sloppily, you create connections between things that should have stayed separate. Keep it clean. Each business manager scope to what it actually needs. Add team members with the right roles instead of just sharing logins, because a shared login means a shared device and a shared IP touching that account, which is the cluster problem again. Use partner access and asset sharing the way Meta designed it, rather than passing passwords around. And watch the payment methods. A credit card reused across many accounts is a strong link. Meta can see the same card behind 5 business managers, and that is enough to relate them, where you can keep the billing as separate and as clean as the device and IP layers. Now the common mistakes. Fast, because seeing them listed saves you a lot of pain. Mistake 1. Running everything from one machine with browser profiles and thinking that is isolation. It is not. The hardware underneath is shared. Mistake 2. Cheap rotating proxies or a shared VPN. You inherit other people's bad behavior on that same IP, and you get linked to strangers who are doing things far worse than you. Mistake 3. The IP that changes country or network constantly. Inconsistency reads as risk. A real person is boringly consistent, and your accounts should be boring too. Mistake 4. No warm-up. Spending hard on day one. There is no fingerprint clean enough to survive brand new account plus aggressive spend. Mistake 5. Reusing the same card, the same page, the same pixel, the same person across accounts you wanted to keep separate. Every reused asset is a thread Meta can pull to tie two accounts together. Mistake 6. And this is the quiet killer: behavioral cloning. You build a perfect technical setup and then run all your accounts through the exact same script at the exact same time, doing the exact same actions. Clean devices, clean EPs, and you link them anyway through behavior. Let each account breathe a little differently. Now scaling, because the whole point is to grow. The way you scale safely is not one giant account doing everything. It is more clean, separate accounts, each on its own real device and its own real IP, each warmed properly, each behaving a little differently. You grow the number of independent units. You do not pile more risk onto one unit. And you isolate failure. If one account gets disabled and it was truly separate, device, IP, behavior, all its own, then it dies alone. The others never even feel it. That is the entire goal. You are not trying to make accounts immortal. You are trying to make sure a loss is one account, not the whole network. Keep records. Which phone, which IP, which carrier, which account, which page, which card. When something goes wrong, you want to know instantly whether the problem is isolated or whether you accidentally shared something. Good notes are how you catch a link before Meta does. For agencies, this matters even more because you are running accounts for many clients and the temptation to batch everything together is huge. But if you run client A and client B from the same devices and the same EPs, you have linked your clients to each other and one client's bad ad can take down another client's account. That is not a technical problem at that point. That is you losing a client. The agency answer is the same answer, just at scale. One real device per client account, one real persistent mobile IP per account, kept mapped to that account no matter which member of your team is operating it. Your staff handoffs happen at your dashboard, not at the Meta login. The account always sees the same device and the same IP it has always seen, even when a different person on your team is doing the work today. That is exactly what a cloud phone farm is for. You get a fleet of real phones, one per account, each on its own real Singapore mobile IP, all controlled from a browser, without you racking hardware or juggling SIMs. The isolation is real because the devices are real. There is nothing to spoof because nothing is fake. If you want to feel the difference instead of just hearing me describe it, there is a free 48-hour trial on the site. No card needed. Go to cloudf.one, grab a real Singapore cloud phone, log one account into it, and watch how a real device on a real mobile IP behaves compared to whatever you are running now. Test it on one account before you move anything important. Set it up calm and boring. One device, one IP, one account, warmed slowly, behaving like a real person. That is the whole game. It is not clever, it is just disciplined, and disciplined is what survives. If this helped, subscribe because the next video goes deeper into the warm-up side, exactly how to age a brand new ad account day by day so it is ready to spend without getting flagged. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one.